we found ourselves in a very difficult situation, okay? And this is what I mean by difficult. I know situations are all relative and your situation may be worse, but this was what I called difficult. We were technically homeless. I had punctured my lung. I could not walk and talk, and my wife has a condition known as hyperemesis when she's pregnant, which means that she just cannot eat or drink. That was my difficult situation and what we had to deal with, trying to figure out, hey, what are we going to do to be able to make ends meet? How are we going to be able to go out there and actually live and learn and be able to, man, live life? I mean, no one says, yeah, hey, honey, let's get married and then let's go be homeless. And those two things don't go together, but that's exactly what happened for us.
We retired after a 25-year career with our marriage and family counseling clinic in May of '03. I had been a live radio talk show host for 20 years. And 6 weeks after I retired, I uncovered the fact that we had already lost 60% of our retirement portfolio in the '01 stock crash. Now, I was 59 years old, and when I uncovered that news, I kind of went into a pity party mode.
I was a sales executive with a pretty large company. I ended up running 4 states for that company. In 2003, became a vice president, started making $200,000 a year, and then all of a sudden in 2006, they found the internet. Became very cheap to sell products on the internet versus running a sales force in 4 states for them. So, unfortunately, that paradigm shift ended my career with them, and I thought it was going to be, a lifelong career with them. So I went out there and I put my resume on the internet, and it's real hard to find any significant money out there. So I did a mindset change. I'm like, all right, I need to be a business owner. I need to do something more entrepreneurial. And fortunately for me, I met a real estate investor that had 92 properties paying him rent at 35 years old. Met him at a luncheon. He really inspired me because he had a GED, so he didn't even go to college. But this guy was doing much better than I was, and he was younger than I was. So that got my that whetted my appetite for real estate investing.
I just want you to know that after nearly 30 years of a career in healthcare, I found that I was getting the ulcers while everybody else was getting rich. And when I investigated how all my friends were getting wealthy, it turns out it was real estate.
Our first deal was a subject to. When we went through it, coming from the social service industry, if we had to do that on our own, I think I would have I'm scared to death, but what we had, I called up one of the community members in Salt Lake City, and he assisted us with our first deal. It was $75,000 in equity on that first deal. On the subject to, we were able to get into the deal with no money down, and that was just really exciting to us. And so my wife and I set a goal that if we were able to do 10 deals our first year, that we would actually take a trip. And what was interesting is that we were able to reach our first 10 deals within 8 months.
I said, I'm in the right place. I did that. I did exactly what they told me to. I went out there, didn't ask questions. I was able to partner up with some other people in this community. And in 2010, we hit the street running. We raised a bunch of capital. I go out there, I raise private capital. I take that capital to the auction. I do what we call a quick fix and flip, put carpet, paint, landscape, and get it back on the market as a standard sale. And now we're up to about 3 properties a month right now. So we're doing really well, and especially I'm really excited because this market just keeps taking off more and more, and I can see the potential. And I know within the next probably 36 to 48 months, I have the full potential of being completely retired for the rest of my life. So it just flat out amazes me that I've been able to find this type of community.
Renatus is dramatically different, at least in my estimation, from every other training venue that is out there. They have a local community. None of the other trainers that I'm aware of offers or sets up and structures a community environment where even new investors can come in and find a way to become successful. They become successful because of the community. The community provides support. It has group environment and people who've been in the business who are willing to lend their time and effort to help the new people become successful. Everybody does better because team. It's a team environment. There is no I in team, and together we all will make more money. There's a new concept in real estate. It's called collaborative competition. My competitor today is my collaborative partner next week.
And then my wife saw a sign that got us attached to a meeting, brought us to a meeting on real estate investing, and into a group that was working with Renatus. And they'd all gone to the college at Renatus. They'd all taken classes. I met teachers that had 10 properties, firefighters that had 14 properties. And what I realized was all these individuals were coming from different backgrounds, but they had a better plan. And that better plan started with getting educated, applying that education, and then creating some expectations around what they were doing in real estate. And I would get the benefit from all of that by joining the group. I would get my education, I would have people there to help me apply it, and then I could actually work on the experience and the expectations that other people in the group had already created. It was fantastic. We started our career wholesaling, then we got into short sales. My wife and I are now involved in a deal that just closed this week, actually, 33 properties with some of the partners in our office. We saw the opportunity on the real estate side. That was obvious. One of the other opportunities that the Renatus offers is the marketing opportunity, where you can enroll students. And the first person that I helped enroll into the college and actually got a check for was my sister. And my sister actually says, "Hey, how are you doing that real estate?" I'm like, go down to this meeting and check it out. And my sister went down to the meeting, and right away, the day after, we were answering questions for her, and she got involved. So she actually got the tuitions, and the college, Renatus, sent us a check for that. And I was like, wow, that was easy. So I set my life up in cash flow, and this really helps because a lot of people that do real estate, they're looking for cash flow, like I gotta get my next check and I gotta get my next check. Well, if you have a cash flowing business, it allows you to pick up properties and not worry about, eating off of that property. You can actually roll that into more real estate. And so my wife and I, with Renatus, just last year in our first year, in 2011, made $149,000 on the cash flow side of the business, just helping enroll students. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
I was privileged one night to get a call from a friend of mine who said, "Hey, I saw you years ago. You used to run the largest real estate investment association. I saw you as a public speaker, and I came to your trainings, and I've got an opportunity I would love for you to take a look at for me. Tell me what you think. I think it could really use your background and skill sets, and I think you'd be interested." And so I said, "Absolutely, I would love to sit down and talk with you." So I came out to a meeting, and I had the privilege of meeting Scott Rowe from Chicago and learning about Renatus and the educational opportunity that they had. And I sat through the meeting, and I was like, okay, well, this is not my first rodeo. I've seen wholesale deals, and I've seen the big checks. I've earned the big checks. But then I started seeing these 18-year-olds and these 22-year-old kids and these 24-year-olds like Justin Kane, who coming out of the gates were doing these amazing real estate deals. And I saw the deals they were doing, and they were doing them in really tough areas of the country with economic circumstances stacked against them. And I said, I don't know anything about this Renatus yet. I don't know what they teach, but looking at these deals that these guys were doing, these kids were doing, I said, whatever it is that they're teaching, it's absolutely legitimate. Because there's no way these guys come out and do these quality of deals without having unbelievable mentors and trainers. And that's when I started my due diligence process. I started looking into the courses and in the instructors, who the background of the company, who the executives were that were running this and the board of directors, to really look into it and say, do I want to hitch, my wagon to these guys and run with them? And I was extremely impressed with the opportunity, and I decided to jump in with both feet.
And lost all of that in 2008, and I had to really reinvent myself, and I had to look for other opportunities and find an industry or a business that will support my lifestyle that I want, that I promised my wife. And I found Renatus. I thought that was a dream come true, and I was right. Renatus changed my life. Whatever I lost for an 18 years of hard work to build, I lost all of that, and I regained it back in less than 3 years.
I wasn't expecting it to become what it's become. I just wanted to feed my family. But 4 months after getting started, or after taking the education live, you know what happened? I got a deal done. And oh my goodness, I didn't know what else to do. I was just like, oh my gosh, did that really work? Don't they know that I did that with none of my own money or credit? I'm sitting here thinking, the police are gonna come and take the check back or something. I didn't understand. But 3 weeks later, I did 11 more transactions, and a couple more weeks after that, I did more. Within a 6-month period, my wife and I, we were able to create a 6-figure income. Remind you, the first 6 months of that year, we were losing everything: our car, our health, our house. I don't know what else would have been left. But in the last 6 months, we were able to create a very, very nice income for ourselves.
And to make a long story short, last year in 2010, I was able to generate just under $200,000 as a result of the real estate investing deals I learned to do, and also as a result of marketing and education itself. And I'm just so grateful for the restoration that Sylvia and I have experienced as a result of this wonderful Renatus program.